it before in Amazon, the book one, that's the physical book, but it was lost. It was stolen in the office, and
Well,
in my country, it's so difficult to order that one.
well, I don't know how to give it to you, my friend, but
Uh,
maybe
no, no, it's okay.
maybe you should ask, for refund from Amazon. Did you ask for refund?
No, 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 bro. It was so no. I got the physical book, and I was studying and reading it,
Okay.
and I was left it in the office, and it was stolen. But it's okay, bro.
Ah,
I
in the
think
office.
next time.
This is a
Yep.
religious. It must be a religious person who stole the book.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Maybe my boss.
all right, my brother.
He
Yeah,
saw it, and yeah, yeah,
maybe. All right, let us stop here, otherwise he will hear you.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah. Thank you, my brother,
All
and
right.
keep safe.
Take care. Bye
We
bye.
will gonna support you as long as we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, speaking of support, actually, I just received an email today in Patreon from a brother. He's saying to me, "Sorry, I cannot support you no more. I cut all my ties with Lisa. I cannot watch my video, your video, me and my daughter, and I mean drama. I want to make it clear here. Nobody here is supporting me. It is the opposite. It is me who is supporting you. And if you think your donation is the support you are talking about, please don't give it to me. It's a very shameful
Yeah, and
behavior. Let me speak, brother, if you don't mind. A very, very shameful, behavior that people, they go to chat, they fight with each other, and then they come back to me. I'm not here to nurse you. I'm not here to play your daddy. I have a big fight, not your little small tiny ones. So if you are here, you think you are supporting me, you are mistaken. I'm the last one who need your support. It is the opposite. It's your kids who are hunted, it's your family, it's your society, and all of you, you will pay the price. I'm doing the work which nobody is doing, not even your priest. So don't give me your drama. You do not need to come to me and tell me those emails. Stop your donation immediately if you ever give me a donation. And if there is a way to give it to you back, let me know. All right, brother. Thank you very much for joining us.
yeah, thank you, bro.
All right. Talash, go ahead, my friend.
Hello, Simi, can you hear me?
I hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, is my audio better? Because I spoke to you yesterday and there was a lot of noise.
All right. Now the voice. Let us see. Yeah, last time you spoke, I remember your voice was very bad.
Is it better now? Am I audible?
It's still cutting, but it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I yesterday we had a discussion about pets. Because I created humanity and the rest of the creatures and pets. And at that time, you made a quote from one of the ayats, that is 1740, where you said angels as daughters. So I went to that verse. It doesn't say anything about gender,
Can you
because that I
can you
sorry.
Talash, can you write for me your question in the chat and I will read it because your voice is really not coming good to me and I don't understand. So if you can, if you don't mind, go to the chat right now, write your question, and I promise you to answer immediately. All right?
Okay, I'll do that.
All right.
I'm sorry about the audio
No, no,
quality.
it's okay. It's okay. Just type your question and I will answer you. I don't think it's internet, maybe it is the microphone, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I will be waiting for your chat post, and I will answer you right away. Let us close some browsers here. All right. All right. We are waiting for our brother here to give me the answer. The question, sorry. All right, until he make his question ready. See if there is anyone. Talash. Okay. Chapter 17, verse 40. How did you assume the gender of the angel as female? This was Allah addressing Meccan pagans who associated Allah with the son and angels and daughter. All right. Let us go to chapter 1740 and read what he is asking for. All right, brother. I got your question. Let us go. You're saying how I assume that this is speaking about the gender. But isn't it the verse saying clearly that the angels, the Arab, they made the angels female? Right? What is the objection for this? Is being females. When the Muslims, they speak about any angel, they say he. They never say anything but he. And here Allah is opposing the angels to be called females. If we go to different verse in the Quran, we will find this. Chapter 4, verse 117, it says, all like those, they worship nothing but female deity. So the Quran is confusing the Muslims about who is what we are talking about. Sometimes he make it the angels. They are worshiping the angels. Sometimes make it like they don't call them angels. They are calling them deity. So what the objection is that they are females. It's not because they are deity. It's because they are females. And then you continue. You will see. This is the chapter you chose. And then you will see here in chapter 37, verse number 50, it says, did we created the angels as females? So Allah questioning them, did we create them as females? But nowhere he says, we did not create them males or females. And Jibreel, as an example, or any of the angels, all of them, they have a male structures and male names. If you go, as an example, chapter 43, verse number 19, it says, and they made the angels who themselves are slaves to Allah, females. You see how many times Allah, is upset from the female issue. We continue. In chapter 53, verse number 21, Allah is upset because the pagan Arab, which is the Muslims anyway, complaining that they are worshipping females, and they give him 3 daughters, but they did not give him 1 son. So he said to them, is it for you the male and for him the female? This is indeed a division most unfair. Here you see again the stupidity of the God of Islam. He is saying it's not fair that you take to yourself sons and for me daughters. Why? Because he is against having daughters. So everything in the front of us, and at the same time, when the angel came to Mary, he came to her as a perfect man. And when he came to Muhammad, he came to him as a perfect man. In fact, Muhammad, he said that Jibreel, he came to him in the image of Dahya al-Kalbi. So Jibreel is not possible, or angels in Islam, is not possible for them to be females, but males. Let's see. All right. Let me show you this hadith here. So if all those evidence is not enough of proof that angels in Islam are male, then what is the evidence will be? As you see here, Muhammad making it so clear. This is number one hadith. I will show you more. The angel comes to me in the form of a man and give it to me. Another one. Let's see, where is the hadith about Dahya? This one too. There's many actually, you know. The Messenger of Allah said, Prophet, blah, 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 etc. So he says that I saw Jibreel in the closest of the people remembrance to him from those I have seen is Dahya. Dahya is a handsome young man in Quraysh. So I hope I answered you. Obviously, angels in Islam are male, not female. Same time, when angel came to Mary, he came to Mary as a perfect man. Muslim, they say the spirit is an angel, even though the verse in the Quran says this is a spirit, but they say this is Jibreel. He came as a perfect man. You see here the translation says perfect human. That's false. You change the translator. Let us say Hilali and Khan.
CP,
Uh-huh.
you're not sharing your screen.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. I shared my screen in YouTube, but not here. It's my fault. It's okay. So all this time I was sharing things and unbelievable. Okay. But anyway, I was mentioning the verses one by one, right? You heard me, Talash, right? I was saying verse, etc., correct? So let us go back to the hadith, actually. So we have to go back. Oh boy. I have to start all over now. That's not fair. All right, is my screen coming? Anyway, you can go to YouTube and you can play the video again in YouTube to avoid playing it again. Okay, Talash?
Yeah, that's okay. No problem.
Yeah.
I'll check it on YouTube. But you can proceed.
All right, okay. Sorry for that. But as you see, there's overwhelming, even when the Quran speak, like it says a messenger. You see the word messenger here in chapter 19? You see the word messenger?
Yes.
Okay, in Arabic, like messenger, in English maybe have no gender. It can be male, it can be female. In Arabic, no. In Arabic, it says Rasulun, Rasulu, Rabbuki. So Rasul, this is the word, the same Muslim, they use it for Muhammad. Why? Because he's a male. All right?
Okay.
All right.
CP,
Yes.
you're not sharing your screen on YouTube or Rumble.
Oh boy. Uh-oh. I forgot to click at this one. Okay, we have to do it from the beginning then. All right, no problem. So I will go back from 0. No problem. It's okay. It's my fault. So I was saying, if we go to the Quran, we will find, now I'm sharing in both. I'm sharing in Rumble, in YouTube, on Discord, and again, so what we can do. Allah forget, I forget. So, all right. So if we go in the Quran, we will find chapter 4, verse 117 says, do you worship instead of Allah female deity? So Islam refused to have anything to do with Allah. They are females. How we can confirm more of that? We continue. We will find here chapter 17, verse 40, the one you choose. It says, did Allah give you the males, sons, and He chose for him females? That and very, very awful indeed. So Allah refused to have females. We continue. If we go 43, verse number 19, it says, and they make the angels who themselves are slaves, the Most High, females. So what Allah is upset from? That they are making them females. So obviously, angels are not females. He did not say they are not males. Remember, He said they are not females. We continue. In chapter 53, verse number 21, Allah, He said, it is for you males and for him females. For him mean Allah. So for you, you have male sons, and for me, I have female daughters. That's rejected. And this is indeed unfair division. Very weird statement from very weird God. He did not say I don't have. He is upset now from the gender. And then we continue. It says that those, and here this is very important, verily those who believe not in the hereafter name angels with female names. Do you see it? So those who believe in Allah, they will never do that. They will have names of male angels. Same if we go to the hadith, we will find, and even the Quran, the angel came to Mary as a perfect man. In chapter 19, verse number 19, the angel said to her, I am a messenger. In English, it doesn't show gender, but in Arabic, it shows gender. Rasul is only a word given for a male messenger. And then here, it says, this angel, when he came to her, he appeared to her as a man, and this is supposedly Jibreel. He did not appear as a female, and not even a single once. And we showed you the verse already, where Allah, He says, only kuffar, they will give angels female names. So to make it simple, Islam is anti-females, to have to do anything with God. Nothing. Angels, assistants, messengers, they have to be males. I hope I answered you. And now you have them both in YouTube. And you can go back to YouTube later so you can see the reference, or you can go to Rumble, because we are both in Rumble and in YouTube. All right?
CPI sent my response in the comment. Can you please read it?
You send a comment. Let me see. Allah refute. That's your comment or somebody else's comment?
No, that's mine. That's it. Elsewhere in Quran, Allah makes it clear not to associate anyone other than Allah. So it's like, isn't that contradicting to what you said?
It's what? What? I don't see that. Can you pause the comment again? All right. It is the pagan elsewhere in the Quran. Allah make it clear not assassinate anyone else other than Allah. This is shirk, which has no forgiveness. Isn't it your claim contradicting My claim about what? My claim contradicting what? What
No,
you?
because you just made a claim that Allah has a problem with associating angels as females. But
No,
isn't associating anybody else with
associating
him
as
a shirk?
when I say associate, mean his helpers, messengers, assistants. That's what I said. So your first question was how we can determine the gender. You gave me a verse. You said nowhere it says that this is the gender of the angels are male, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Okay, so I'm not saying that Allah, when I say associate, I'm not talking about Allah saying worship the angels, no. I'm saying he don't associate himself with any but males. So Muhammad is a male. Angels are males. The spirit, when they come down, according to Islam, they are males. So Allah don't associate himself with anything. And he is male. Like why the Muslim, they call him he? Why Allah in the Quran says, why you worship females? Why he's saying that? So Allah, he called himself he. Allah, he say, if I want to have a son, I will take a wife. Allah, he says, how can I have a son if I don't have a girlfriend? All of those is enough to prove to us that Allah obviously is a male. Why Allah did not say, in Arabic there is many words we can use without naming the gender of the partner. So Allah do not need to say, how can I have a son without having a girlfriend? He can say, I am not married. I'm not married. A woman can say it. A man, he can say it. He can say, I don't have a spouse. But he chosen to say, he is the originator of the heaven and the earth. How can he have a children when he has no wife? So let us see how many times Allah, he confirmed that he is a male. He, then he, then he, then wife, then he. So if all of this did not confirm to you until now that Allah obviously is a male, I give up. All right?
Okay, okay.
All
Okay,
right.
I'll go back and study more about it. I have another question regarding Genesis, which we discussed yesterday. Is it
Again,
okay? Can
again, my
I
friend, I
please?
don't understand what you are saying. I don't understand. Sorry.
I mean, regarding Genesis, we spoke yesterday
I
about
don't understand you. My
Jesus's.
friend, I don't understand you. Yeah. Your voice
Okay.
your microphone is horrible, you know.
Now, can you hear me? Am I audible now? Is it
Okay.
better?
Can you type again your question?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Same time, when a Christian person he have a question about the Old Testament or New Testament, we have Christians, we have a million website with interpretation of the Bible. Why people don't do that? Why nobody want to do that? I think people are just lazy. Are you a Muslim, Talash?
That's right. Yes, yes, I am. I'm
Oh,
a new
okay.
convert.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I just typed my question.
In
Statement.
Genesis 18. Uh-huh. Yeah, you see, uh, if we go to Genesis 18, you see the Muslim, they say God is not a man. If you remember once, uh, David Wood was debating with this guy, this kid, Mimi Hijab. Mimi Hijab, he claimed that not a single Jew believed that God is a man. But because David Wood is not a good debater, you should right away slam in his face from the Quran and from the Bible, you know. So the Genesis 18 speaking about God appearing to Abraham, and when he saw three men here, you will see the number three always have a like significant details in Christianity, and actually Muhammad he copied that from Christians. This is why you see everything in Islam is based on number three. Everything, not a single thing, including evolution. Even when they call Allah, they call him three times. When Allah, he call himself, he say Allah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. So in Genesis, when it speak about God coming as a man, and the Muslim they reject how God can be a man, and they say nobody believe in that, that's absolutely false. And actually the Quran can lead us to the same details. But if we go to John, chapter 8, verse number 56, or you can read the verses before it, you will see that the Messiah, he confirmed that Abraham, he saw my day, and he rejoiced for it. So when the Messiah says, they say to him, how that can happen? You are not even 50 years old. So he said, truly, truly, I say to them, he saw my day, he rejoiced for it. So yes, God appeared to Abraham as a man. And Jesus here referring to that as himself. Did I answer you? Now, I want to ask you, as long as you are a Muslim, is your God Allah a man? You can try to answer by the microphone. Let me see if I can understand. Is your God Allah?
I believe so because he said that it clearly states that Allah made Adam in His image.
Correct.
So yes,
Yeah, even that one, Muhammad is copying the Old Testament in the book of in Genesis. God, he created Adam in his image. However, as long as you agree Allah is a man, but don't you think that Allah is incapable of being God when he said he is a man? Why? Because God in the Bible, who is a man, he can have a son without having a girlfriend, which means he's almighty. He do not need a female in order to accomplish such a thing. Allah in the Quran himself questioning his ability. It's not the Christians, it's not the Jews, it is not the Arab is asking Allah, how can he? It is him using the term, how can he? You see, this verse alone is enough for you to leave Islam. Because if Allah is God, how he says such a statement? If he is the originator of the heaven and the earth, so he's what? The originator. Then how he so say, how can he have a children when he has no wife? That is the most stupid statement. Contradict the first statement before it. If he is the originator, with the one who originate everything, he do not need a wife. Correct, guys?
okay. CP, I had the same question which I asked my Imam, and this was his answer. Okay, can you hear me clearly now?
I hear you. You said he did not answer. He said he did not answer.
No, 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 no. He answered. I will
Okay.
give you what he said. What he said, what he told me is that Allah is one.
Allah,
Now,
Allah is
there is
what?
nobody else. Allah is just one. There is
Okay.
nobody else like him. So he cannot have another wife or another person. The reason he doesn't have a son is because there cannot be anybody like him. He is just one. So if he has a wife, it has to be someone like Allah, a female version of Allah. If he has children, he has to have all the attributes of Allah. Well, there's only one, which is why he's alone. And he cannot have a woman.
All right, my friend, your Imam is a donkey because his statement is refuted in the Quran in chapter 21 in Al-Anbiya, where it says, had we, intended to have a son or a wife, we will take it from ourselves. So if Allah is one and there's nothing like him, then how Allah saying he will take a wife then from us? So your Imam is an idiot. Number two, if we go, this is chapter 21, verse number 17. Number two, if we go back to the same verse, the one who said, well, Allah, there is nobody with him, he's alone, so he cannot have a son. But this is not about having a wife. This is about having a son. So what he just told you, Allah is the same as us. If he is alive, if I live alone in the island, and there's no women with me, thank God, then I cannot have a son. That is the answer from a man. This is not from God. God is almighty, which means saying the statement, how can he? See, how can that mean Allah cannot be God? Because can is always what God can do. Unless the Muslim, they believe in a Trinity. And then there is a job for the Father, a job for the Son, a job for the Holy Spirit. Here, Allah questioned his ability, not possibility. Can is about ability. So, first of all, nobody's asking him to have a wife, because the Christians don't believe that God have a wife in order to have a son. Not a single Christian believe that God the Father, he married from Mary, and then they have a baby, his name is Jesus. How cute. So the Imam who told you the answer is a potato. Bring him here and people will die laughing at him.
No, CP, the previous Al-Anbiya ayah that you showed doesn't say we could have taken from a creation. It says that if we wanted a son, we could have taken a wife from one of our creation. In other words,
where is the word our creation? Can you show it to me?
I check it from Quran.com.
My friend, your Quran.com is a scam. Here we go. It says from us. And where is the creation? The word creation, you can copy each one of those words alone in Google, just one by one. And you will see the word creation does not exist. So what the Muslims they do? They fabricate Quran in order to fix the Quran. And this is another reason for you to leave Islam. If Islam is from God and the Muslim they claim, they never corrupt the book. Why, when they translate, they change the meaning so you can be confused more? Simply because this verse is enough a proof that Allah is a fraud. In the top of that, if we wish, just to show you how stupid what the logic you are, I'm not saying you are stupid, the logic you're trying to understand from the Muslims. A minute ago you said to me, the Imam told you, if Allah want to take a wife, well, there's no one like him. They have to be from the same kind. 2 minutes after, you said to me, oh, here it says, if Allah want to take a wife, he can take it from his creation. So which one is valid? If he cannot take a wife from someone is like have to be like him, and now he is saying if he want to take a wife, he will take it from his creation, that is a total contradiction. However, the word creation does not exist. It says us. Us. And you can go and read the interpretation. And you can just copy word by word, post it in Google, and you will see word by word. And then you will see, nowhere it says our creation. The word creation does not exist. So my friend, they lied to you, and you are a victim of their lies. You better repent and leave the cult. You are following Satan. Anything else?
I have one more question regarding Genesis. Okay, I studied what Genesis 13 which you gave yesterday.
Before we keep going from place to place. Like, so, what do you think about this? Is that can be from God?
I didn't hear you. Can you repeat?
Do you think this can be really a statement from God? Like, if I want to take a woman for fun. In fact, in Arabic it says lahu. lahu, which means a woman for fun, prostitute. We would have taken it from us. What kind of God he says such a statement?
What I've understood and what my Imam taught me is that Allah is one. You
Who
see,
cares
he
if he's
cannot
one, my
be.
friend? You see, just go down from the stage, please. I'm not in the mood to continue with this stupidity. Guys, God is one. Who cares? So what if God is one? Satan is one. Muslims believe that Satan have children, but he don't have a wife. If Satan can have babies without having a wife, then how come Allah cannot have babies without a wife? You know, you lose your patient. Sometimes I wonder, really, I don't want to be sound like an atheist, but did God create those people? I mean, what he gave them? What is the brain he gave them? God is one. Who care? Do you think when you say God is one is a big deal? Who cares if the God is 1 or 10 or 50? The question is if God is true or not. He is 10, 20, 10,000. When is that a big deal? Those Muslims, they think God is one, like something, you know. And those naive, stupid ones, they think that the Muslims have a privilege, that God is one. The one who worships Satan, there's people who worship Satan, their God is one. They are monotheists, more than Allah. We don't reject the God of the Hindus. They have 35 million gods. We don't reject them because they are 35 million God. No. But because obviously they are false. They worship rats, elephants, whatever. So it's not how many. Let us say in reality there's a trillion God. Okay, we cannot change that. There are trillion God. So only silly human being, he think that he have a privilege when he say he believe in one God. A one God which we cannot explain, and he cannot explain himself. A one God who have a foot and a shin and 5 fingers. A one God who sit in a chair and he write the name of Mohammed in the chair, the first graffiti in history. One God who is so wise to the point he believed that Suleiman have a flying carpet. And he sent Suleiman to learn how to speak to the birds. So Suleiman, he entered the classroom of birds. Alhamdulillah, I've been taught the language of the birds. Suleiman go out of the street, he see an ant, he understand the ants. But he just told you the language of the birds. And you are talking to the ants? Are you sure, Suleiman, that you spoke or you learned the correct language? Vision, go ahead. Vision? Are you there? Well, talk. You're not muted. Why you are in the stage to be... Okay, maybe this guy, he put his hand up by mistake. Or maybe his wife, she pushed him. All right. So the idea of having one God can change nothing of the value of the one you are following. He is 1, he is 7, he is 20, he is 60. Only stupid, naive people, they think it make a difference. It doesn't. A? Go ahead, brother. B? I don't know why people, they call themselves a letter. I mean, give yourself a name so we can see it. A, are you there? You need to push to talk. All right, guys, if you don't want to talk, please don't waste my time. My voice is already gone, you know. My voice is tired already, you can tell. Actually, I bought today, I will receive them today some, like, you know, the candy for the throat. I hope that will help, because I'm speaking too much. Go ahead,
How you
Adrian.
doing, Christian Prince?
I'm fine, Adrian, go ahead.
Quick question. What is your take on in Tafsir al-Qutubi? It says that uh Jesus sent Paul and Peter and their disciples, but Muslims they reject it because it comes from Ibn Ashaq.
Well, you know, the Muslim, they will reject anything will make Islam look stupid. Same time, Ibn Ishaq is the source of all the hadith. Where they get their hadith from? Who is the first person in their history who reported the biography of Muhammad and his stories? So they are hypocrite. And on top of that, why Al-Qurtubi or Ibn Kathir or all other scholars, Al-Baghawi, big names, why they write those things in their books if it's invalid? So simply what is invalid is the dignity of Islams and Muslims. They are sneaky. In their books, they say something. When they speak to Christian, they say, why Muhammad never accused Paul of saying something bad, doing something bad? How come the Muslim, they say, Paul is a bad person, Muhammad never says so? Is the Muslims are more Allah told them, but Allah did not tell Muhammad? Muhammad, he have hadith about shaking your penis 3 times. He have hadith about cleaning your ass with a rock 3 times, 3 rocks. He have hadith about shaitan sleep in your nose, piss in your ear. So he have all kind of silly, stupid things to say. But he could not say once something important about Paul. So this is about Paul. Is the Muslims looking for how we can fight Christianity? Paul is a very conservative person. In fact, many things in the Quran is forbidden because of Paul. Muhammad was trying to copy Paul. Being a drunk is from Paul. Fornication is from Paul. All the things that Muhammad he claimed, it is from Paul. If you go and search those verses in the Quran, you can do it right now. Do study your own. Search for those verses and comparing to the verses Paul he said about the same topic. You will see Muhammad is copying Paul.
Yeah, I noticed that, and also like in the sealed nectar, it's referencing a bunch of Ibn Ashaq. Like I don't get like that's one of the most recognized biographies of the prophet. No.
Well, my friend, when you are debating a snake, you need to hold the head, not the tail. And we hold them from their head. If the Quran did not say the 3 messengers who they are, that means the Quran is a failure. So when the Muslims they try to explain the failure of the Quran by saying those are Paul and John and Peter, then the Muslim should ask themselves why the Muslim did not. Okay, if they are not those 3, who are they? We are waiting.
That's true. That is very true.
Not
Yeah,
only
and it's
that,
crazy how
why they are
they
saying
just.
that those 3 messengers they went to Antioch. All of us knew what Antioch have to do with the history of Christianity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we know who is the ones who went to Antioch. So obviously, the whole story is a theft, and the whole idea of Muhammad is a theft. Muhammad he did not bring a religion. Muhammad is a collector of other religions. The same when the Jews, they came to Muhammad and they told him, tell us about Zulqarnain. They made him believe, they told him he's a prophet. So Muhammad now, he trusts the Jews, as Quran 9:61 says, he's an ear. So whatever you say to him, he believe it, because he is an ignorant person. So they made him believe that he is a prophet. And Muhammad, he went and he asked those slaves who they are captured coming from the Babylon, and even the Quran mentioned about those 2. The Quran mentioned that those they accuse him that he is getting his stories from those two slaves. So Muhammad said to them, well, you know what? Those slaves, they speak broken Arabic. And the Quran is not a broken Arabic, which is a very stupid argument. Because you can speak to me now in English. I can make the story in Arabic, which is my first language. You can speak to me your story in a broken Arabic. And still I can say the same story with good Arabic. If you go in the Quran, let's see here. Chapter 16, verse number 103. Indeed, we know, the polytheist, they say, only a human being who is teaching him. If you go and read the interpretation, they even give you the names of those two human beings. And they are slaves. Muhammad told them, and now he is refuting them. Well, the tongue of those men they refer to is foreign. They are foreign people. While this Quran is a clear Arabic tongue. Do you see how stupid Muhammad is? What does have to do with the clear Arabic tongue or not? You can be a Pakistani guy and you learn a broken Arabic and you tell me a story and then I write the story in a... Like now, Christian Prince, he wrote a book. Christian Prince teaching people here. Christian Prince, he have a broken English. But many of you have a very good English. You can make a book about what you learn from a Christian Prince. What does have to do with this? So even the Quran documented that Muhammad is a thief, stealing stories from others, and mostly they are foreigners. All right.
Now, just one last question. Do the Muslims have several different Qurans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they go off of Hafs, right?
Not necessarily. Depend on the location. Hafs became popular after the Saudi Arabia oil became massive and money, so they printed Hafs and they spread it everywhere. Otherwise, before every country have different Quran. But now it became more popular because of the oil of Saudi Arabia. As an example, if you go to Morocco, they have only Warsh. They don't use Hafs.
The other ones, they get it. They like I know a lot of Muslims. They say like the other Qurans are not recognized because they have a lot of mistakes in them.
Well, they supposedly this one have no mistakes. This is the book of mistakes. Same time, you see, when the Muslims they say there's other Qurans. So how you say there's only one Quran and then you say to me there's other Quran? Plus, Muhammad, he claimed that it was his request from Allah to send 7 Quran. And those are the hadith in front of us and they are authentic. Each time the angel Jibreel, he come down to him, Muhammad, he tell him, well, you know what, Jibreel, ask Allah, my people, they cannot handle this. All right? And here you can see an example of the story, and this is Sahih. This story here destroy Islam from the beginning to the end. Why? Muhammad talking to God. The God of Islam, according to Muslims, he wrote his Quran in the tablet before he created mankind. Muhammad now is asking Allah for more Quran. So number one, that means the story of the Quran written before time is a lie. Which means Islam is a lie too. Because Allah in the Quran says, في لوح محفوظ. So Allah, he put the Quran in a tablet. Which one? As you see, Muhammad keep asking Allah for more Quran. More Quran means different Quran. Different way of reciting the Quran. And each time the angel, he come back to him, Muhammad, he says to him, my people are not capable for doing it. My people. Here you need to understand that what Muhammad he confirmed that Allah as an author of the Quran is incapable of explaining himself to the point Muhammad he need 7 Quran written 7 times so people they can understand the Quran. And imagine 7 times for Quran for people who speak one language. So what we would do with India would have more than 400 or 4,000 language. If the Arab who live in Mecca, a small tiny tribe, need 7 Quran, so they might understand the Quran. How those who live in India, like Zakir Naik, Christian Prince, first of all, we can understand the Quran without knowing Arabic. You idiot. The Quran, your prophet saying, they are not able to do it. Christian Prince, first of all, Prophet Muhammad talking about the Quran and the old day. It was very heavy because it was big. Because at that time, the people, they were very thick. Look, what heavy, what paper are thick. There's no papers at that time, you donkey. And all your Quran is not even the index of my Bible. All the Quran is not even the size of the index of the Bible. You don't have a book. So simply, Islam is just as stupid. My friend Adrian, let us give other people to speak, please, if you don't mind. So, not only one person take the time. Thank you very much.
I have a good one.
Yeah, thank you. Who was next?
Hey, Christian Prince.
Okay, V, go ahead.
Hey, I've been watching your videos for quite some time, and I love it. And I reckon Islam is the most stupid religion because I'm going to tell you a bit of a short story. I was actually on Call of Duty, and 2 Muslims started insulting me. So what I decided to do was insult them back, but I didn't know any information about Islam at the time until now. And yes, I am a fellow brother in Christ, and I'm trying to learn more so I can actually help Muslims see the truth, as well as using some vulgar, not well, it's kind of like insulting language, but without the swearing. Half the time I call them heathens or donkeys like you do. But I want to know more about it so I can help explain it to them, you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Well,
Oh yeah, hi
this is what we
by the way.
this is what we do here. This is what we do here. And
Yeah.
please take notes if you are interested to learn, because what I
Love
say
to.
maybe after 5 minutes you will forget, and then the good thing we are making them in videos, so always you can have. But it's better if you download the videos, especially if you find a topic or a video explaining something can be very useful in your argument against Abdul.
Oh, definitely.
All right.
Especially, I looked up something called the Dawah script. I don't know if you heard of it or not.
Dawah script.
And
Okay.
yeah, the Dawah script, what they go off, they say like, how Paul's unknown, other stuff is unknown, and then, so forth. Actually, all the prophets are known. It's based in all the scriptures. They're the ones that help through the power of the Holy Spirit that were in the prophets at the time of the Lord Jesus Christ, the eyewitnesses that I truly believe. Then something that came 600 years after the death of Jesus, and Muhammad knows nothing about it. Why would I trust a pedophile than someone that is, not holy, nor whatsoever, even though Jesus was holy? You know what I mean?
Not only this, I mean, there's tons of reasons not to trust Muhammad. And if Muhammad is a good person, even if he's a good person, but he's not, that will not be a reason. A good person, let us say, in the appearance, because I can now give you speeches about being good, and but doesn't mean I'm a good person. There's many, they even between the Christians who they are fake priests. They dress nice, they speak nice, but their target is money, wealth, possession. So the Lord, he warned us. He says, be aware of false teachers who come to you in the clothes of a sheep, but they are wolves. So it's not necessarily someone, he is a clothing sheep, will make him good. However, in the case of Muhammad, is so much exposed.
Mm.
In the beginning, he came in a clothes of a sheep, like he was, uh, like because he's weak. He don't have an army, so
Yeah.
he's okay. If no problem. Christians will go to heaven, Jews will go to heaven, Sabian will go to heaven, and then at the end of Muhammad's life, this is where the Tawbah came, the chapter of the Tawbah. Kill them wherever you find them, slaughter them, make them pages. Yeah, because now Muhammad is a new person who have an army. So Muhammad, when he was a rabbit, was in a clothes of a sheep. Muhammad, when he have an army, is the wolf. And this is the stages of, it's called Islam, al-Hijrah. So the Muslims, they come to a country, they in the beginning they play that we are obedient by the law, we respect the law, we love America, we love England, we love Australia. And when they become big in the population, then you will see a different scenario.
Yeah, it's like their true colors shine out. I've seen numerous videos of Muslims. This is the reason why I hate Islam with a passion. That one of our Christian brothers was actually, well, I think it was either Christian or Jew, one of those two, and he was actually insulted by the Muslims, and I'm just sitting there and just like, what the hell is this? And then
Yeah, it's not the
and I
fault
had
of
to
the
show
it's
him.
not the fault of the Muslims. Here you need to ask
Yeah,
yourself certain questions. Why there's nobody there to support this individual? Why he's alone? Where is the
mm,
rest? The guy you are talking about, he's a Jew. But I saw other Christians too. Why they are alone? Where is the rest of the Christians? Where is the rest of the Jews? So, there is a problem that when one of us, he is challenged physically, we don't want to do harm to Muslims. We don't want to fight with them physically. But we
oh,
have the right.
definitely, definitely.
We have the right to defend ourselves. And you notice in some countries, police are useless, like in England, and they let the Muslims get away with all their crimes. In fact, I
It's
think
like
I,
over
I
here in my
think I
country.
think the guy who is in charge of counter-terrorism in England is a Muslim. Imagine. So so if the one who supposedly chased terrorists, he himself is a Muslim. So what do you expect? Uh, However, when a Christian he go to preach, why not too many Christians they go with him at least to make a circle around him so nobody can push him and touch him and harass him. Why he go alone? Where is the Christians? If I go right now in speaker corner, how many will be with me?
Maybe a couple.
But is that enough?
Well,
You have like
no,
two.
no,
You will
definitely.
have 200 Muslims, and we have like five. Where is the Christians? Now I don't go really in street because I'm a very hot blooded person, and if somebody touch me, I might go out of control. I don't want to end going in jail. Uh,
I pretty much stuff on mine as well. So
yeah, so I avoid
most
I,
of the
I
stuff I've got.
avoid I avoid in person attention because I will never tolerate someone trying to do physical harm to me. Uh,
Yeah,
Even though the Bible says like turn your cheek, but the Bible did not say turn your cheek to people who they are like those. Turn your cheek in the Bible is about somebody he have ethic, so he will feel the shame. Like okay, beat me more. Go ahead. You want to hit me? Gonna hit me. He will feel ashamed. But those people have no shame. It's taught in their
yeah,
religion that this is what you should do. When Jesus spoke about turn the cheek, there's a Roman law says if you hit the other cheek, you go to jail. So Jesus saying to them, use the law. When Jesus speak about turn the cheek, he's speaking about people who they are your neighbors, your city, not people coming to invade you like Muslims coming to do jihad and having sword or ISIS. We don't turn the cheek for those. So we need to understand that allowing evil will not make evil stop being evil. We should stand against evil, and we don't want to disturb peace anywhere. We are against violence. But in the
yeah,
same time, Christians should be uh, able always and ready to defend themselves. And those people,
definitely.
the more they see you peaceful, the more they think you are a coward. In fact, Muslims, like maybe 2 weeks ago, there's a guy he came
I think
here,
I
and
think so.
his name is Joshua. I don't know if you heard him. This guy,
I think
Joshua,
so.
yeah, Joshua come to the mic. He says, Christian Prince, you should speak to Muslim in a different way. This is not the Christian way to talk. And he's
Oh
so
yes, I
upset.
heard it. Yeah, I watched the video of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the video of that. I
And,
watched it
and
actually
I,
yesterday.
yeah, and I asked him, okay, let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
How many Muslims became Christians because the way you do it, the right way? He said 0. I said, ask me the same
Yeah,
question, you know?
and you said 10,000 plus.
Thousands of thousands. I'm not saying thousands.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
If you go in the Quran, it says why the Christians are nice. Because they are not nice, but because Allah, He put shame and humility on them. This is in chapter 3, verse number 12. So Allah, He put worth and shame and humility over them. So when a Muslim, he see you nice and peaceful, he believe the Quran is the truth. He don't say, oh, you know what, those are people following Jesus, that's why they are peaceful. No, no, no. The Quran say to them, the reason they allow you to insult them because Allah, He put shame on them. Do you see it?
Yes, I do.
So when you are the friendly Christian with the Muslims, they took it wrongly. That's why I know their mentality, and I speak to them in the language of Abdul, potato, donkey, idiot.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Plus, the reason why I asked you those questions is because in the Bible, I can't remember what chapter it says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge."
Yeah, they're ignorance.
And
Oh, correct. Yeah.
yeah,
All
so
right.
that's the reason why I asked you all these questions because I don't know Arabic.
If I know what?
I don't know Arabic.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
So yeah. Plus, I've never read the Quran before, but I only picked up the verses that would hopefully help the Muslims see that it's like of the devil and help them turn away from that. So I'm pretty much doing the same thing that you're doing.
Well, you do not need to know Arabic now because we are teaching you. Well, thank you, brother, for the share. We have many people waiting, if you don't mind.
Oh, no problem.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Who was next? Blar?
Hello, sir.
Go ahead.
Fat Kodoro from Nigeria.
Okay, my friend, can you wait a little bit because we have people who are here before you, if you don't mind?
Okay, okay.
Balari, you were next? Or Sheikh?
Baller was first, but I don't
Okay,
know
Balar,
if
are
he...
you there? Okay,
Baller!
Balar is taking a shower. Okay. Okay, Sheikh, go ahead.
Okay. So, as you know, Jesus and Allah probably as well confirmed both scripture, Torah, and the Injil. Okay, in Jesus' time and the time of Muhammad. And from what I remember, it never says in the Quran that further down the future that the Torah and the Gospels will be corrupted or altered. Is that right?
My friend, the Quran never say the Torah and the Bible are corrupted. It's the opposite. What the Quran
Yeah.
speak about this. The
I'm not
word
saying that.
tahrif is mentioned in the Quran by those who they change the meaning. All right? As an example, chapter 2, verse number 75, it says, those who hear the word of Allah and they change their meaning. If you see here. And the Muslim, they
Yeah.
add the word Jews, even though the verse does not mention Jews. So they change what? They change their meaning. So Quran confirm what they have. If we go to a different place, you will see the Quran is speaking about changing the locations of verses. However, if you go and check the story, you will see that there's a Jew. He put his finger over the verse. So that is not really a physical changing. He was trying to hide it. So again, the word tahrif here appear about a Jew who put his hand over a verse. And we have reference where Muhammad, he took an oath on the Torah. And we have reference in the Quran, Allah confirming the gospel and the Torah. And when you ask the Muslims why Muhammad is taking an oath on the Torah, they say, well, he don't really take an oath in the whole Torah. He said, I believe in some, like some of it, not all of it. Then you go to the, I don't know what's wrong with my keyboard. Okay, hold on. So they ask him, okay, so why he did that? He says, oh, he meant only part of it. And here you see the hypocrisy. Muhammad, he grabbed the whole Torah, he put it in the cushion, the whole Torah. And this is in the same incident where the Jews accused of changing location of verses by what? By putting their finger over it. Here it says, bring the Torah, Muhammad said. Then it was brought to him. And here you see Muhammad the hypocrite is withdrawing a cushion from beneath of him. And he placed the Torah on it, saying, I believe in thee and him who revealed thee.
Yes.
So the accusation of, this is just because, Muslims are desperate to prove their cult. The way I see Islam is like a whore. She have no honor. And this whore, she tried to attach herself to someone have honor. So we Christians, we wash our hands from Islam.
Yes.
Muslims, they say Jesus is Muslim, Moses is Muslims, Abraham is Muslims, Mary is Muslim, everybody is a Muslim. But if Jesus is a Muslim, then he should be a pedophile like your prophet. He should teach lying. He should teach, deception. He should teach that you can lie to your wife. He should teach polygamy. And not only that, even the God of the Muslims is not a spirit. Our God is a spirit. So we even have a major difference in the nature of God. Our God is a spirit. Plus our God have a son. Their God cannot even have a son without a girlfriend. So Islam is just a whore. She is looking for honor. And we will never give her that. All right?
Never will.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Let us give Balar. Are you back? Balar?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm discussing with those Muslims, and it always comes down like to a certain blockage. So I'm going through the Holy Spirit with them to show them that, like, if you look only at Quran, you cannot say that it's Jibril, right? You only know that it's from God, the Holy Spirit, and it sends revelations to prophets, right?
All right.
So I go through this with them. I go with the fact that Jesus is in heaven from Quran, right? He will come back to earth as final judge. So I show them that, like, okay, you see, like, Jesus is considered like immortal because he's still alive, right? 2,000 years old. We don't know when the hour will come, but we know that when the hour comes, God will send him to rule the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I make them say it themselves, right? They explain the Trinity by themselves. They just don't want to call it the Trinity. And then the guy, he tells me, you cannot do that because this is tamsil, sifat. I promise, CP, when I look at the definition, I fell on the floor. I was dying laughing. The guy, he tells me that you cannot do like representation or mimicry or acting or like just imagining what it is. But then they tell you every time you try to look at something with them, they tell you, yeah, but this is metaphorical. But just the word metaphorical is
It's nothing, yeah.
exactly. I was
Islam is
dying. I'm trying to
Islam is a
explain it,
stupid
man.
religion. Yeah, Islam is a stupid, Islam is a stupid whore.
CP, I was dying. The guy, he then asked me if I speak Arabic. Like, I don't have the cleanest Arabic. I have dialectal broken Arabic.
Yeah.
But still, if I see a mumassil, I know it's Muhammad, right? So I was dying. I'm trying to explain this to him. He tells me this is shirk. I tell him, from the first person who recite Quran, this is tamsil shirk, right?
Yeah. Crazy cult. All right, my friend. Thank you very much. Let us hear
Thank you,
this
Stephen.
friend from
I
Nigeria.
just wanted to.
Oh, he's gone.
Yeah.
Go ahead, F from Nigeria.
Yeah. I want to appreciate your work.
All right.
You have been a blessing. God bless you. And your work has been helpful for us Christians in Nigeria. We are converting them to our local languages, and it has been blessing and it has been wonderful. I have a few questions.
Go ahead. By the way,
Yeah.
there's a Nigerian brother. He is translating my book into Nigerian language, so soon we will have it and we will share it with everybody for free.
Yeah, your videos are helpful and we are converting them to Yoruba language. It has been wonderful.
All right.
I want to ask, you see, you mentioned some things about Paul.
Yeah.
Few years back, I called you to make video for me and you did, and use the video. But you said there are some, we know about Ezekiel 3, but that you said there are about 30 other references.
I don't understand.
You can give.
If you can speak slower, please. I'm trying to understand you.
Okay.
So I made a video about Paul and
Surah 36, ayah 14. Surah 36, ayah 14.
Surah what?
Surah 36, ayah 14.
36. Okay. 36. Okay. 36, 14.
You said
okay.
36, 14. Talk about other references aside Ibn Kathir. I will be glad if I can lay my hands on those other references aside Ibn Kathir.
Okay. To make it simple, maybe I can give you. Let me search in the internet. I think there's some Christian they made, but it's in Arabic. But you can use Google Translation. You know.
Yeah.
Let us see.
Yeah.
No, I can give you more. I can give you more, but those websites will do enough, you know. So if I search right now Paul in the Quran or Paul Messenger of Allah, we will find tons of reference. Let us see this one here. All right. Okay, this one is good. So open this link. All of those, it's endless reference actually. This guy here did a good job. So if you open this link, but you have to use Google Translation. Do you see the?
Yeah,
do you see the link?
Okay.
I just posted.
Yeah, I'm seeing.
Yeah, okay. But you have to use Google Translation.
Google Translation. I will do that.
All right.
God bless you.
And maybe you can make an article about it in your language. You know.
Sure.
And so people who speak your language can see how Paul and all the reference. This is some of the reference actually, not all, but it's it's overwhelming.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah, another thing, you talk about Mohammed was an idolater. You see, you quoted Surah 29, ayah 46, and Surah 74, ayah 5, and Surah 93, ayah 7, where Muhammad was warned from idolatry. And Surah 96, ayah 7 said he was found lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there any reference where maybe a Surah or a deed that said Muhammad actually practiced idolatry? Because Muslims usually say no, it's not talking about idolatry, it's only being warned.
No, the Quran is clear that Muhammad never have a book. That's why the Quran actually called the Christians and the Jews people of the book and call the Muslims Ummiyin. Why they are Ummiyin? Because all of them, they are pagan. So in the top of that, when the Quran speak about Muhammad, it says وَجَدَكَ ضَالًا فَهَدَى. So he found him lost, and then he guided. So if Muhammad was, as Muslim they claim, since he was a kid, he was following Abraham, which is a big fat lie, because all of us, we knew that Muhammad is born of a pagan family. Even his grandfather and his uncles, they die as pagan. His uncle, he refused to convert to Islam, the one Muhammad grew in his house. But you see here in the Muslim translation, look how they lie. It says, he found you, وَجَاكَ ضَالًا فَهَدَى. He found you anywhere. There's a guy, if you remember, guys, when we made the video, I went to debate this guy. What his name? Learn, turn something, the potato. You remember, guys, when we went there? In the same video, if you remember, at the end of this video, before he finished his broadcast, he ran away from debating me, even though I'm texting in chat, says, let me join, you know, coward. At the end of the video, what he said, anyone remember what he said about dal? Who remember? The word he said, dal, mean evildoer. This is who is Muhammad. So the Quran confirmed. And if I'm lying, the video is there. It's in my video too, because we recorded him saying that. I made a video about it. After he left, we play his video again, and he said, I did not say what you claim. I say that the person who's dal is an evildoer. He's a bad person. But the Quran described Muhammad as a dal. Here the Muslim translation is saying, find you unaware. That's absolutely false. Dal have nothing to do with being aware or unaware. Dal is somebody absolutely not following God, absolutely do not know who is God. And not only that, there's other verses in the Quran. You know, it says you do not know what the book, and you don't even have faith. All those translation is false. So if we go to the front verse, you will see the Quran saying that Muhammad, he do not know anything about the book. All those you see in the screen now, this website is really stupid, you know. Like you type two words. Hold on, give me a second. If we go to this verse, let us try again. If you read it carefully, you will see the Quran confirm that Muhammad, not only he do not know what is the book, but he don't know even what is faith. Do you see it?
Yeah.
This cannot be Muhammad, he know faith but not whole faith. It says you do not even know what is faith. So Muhammad was a pagan person to the bones, and now Muhammad, he claimed that Allah, he inspired Muhammad. However, even the word here, inspire, is a false. Why? Because inspiration is when God speaks to your mind directly, not when somebody come to your door and squeeze you. That is not inspiration. That is a delivery. So the stupid Muhammad, he cannot even make his mind how he received the Quran. Either you receive the Quran as inspired, or you receive the Quran by the delivery boy, which is Jibreel. So here you see, and the Quran says, if this is a book made by other than Allah, you will find in it a lot of contradiction. This is a book, again, full of stupid stories, and it contradicts itself. How the Muslim, they say Muhammad was always Abrahamic? If he is always Abrahamic, how he don't even know what faith is? He don't know what the book. The Muslim, they will say to you, okay, if we go to a different verse, that Abraham, don't they say Abraham, he came to Mecca? They say that, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Surah 2.
So Abraham is the one who built or rebuilt the Kaaba. To the point, they call it the Maqamu Ibrahim. All right. And Ishmael, he was with him. Okay, wonderful. But then we go to the Quran, we find that Muhammad, He was the only one who came to Mecca to warn them about God. So how nobody came to them before you as a warner? And Abraham and Ishmael are the one who built the Kaaba. And Muhammad is, according to Muslims, he is the descendant from Ishmael. Do you see it?
Yeah.
And we have given no scriptures to study, nor we sent them before thee. I mean, the Quran make it even more stupid by saying before thee. Because the Muslim, they might say, it says, nor we send them. It's talking about now. No. Talking about before thee. So if Muhammad did not add the word before thee, Muslim, they can play with it. But now it's confirmed to be a big poo-poo with a lot of smell. All right, brother?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I still have another question.
If you don't mind, let us give other people, the time.
Okay.
You can come back
Thank
again.
you.
All right. Okay, thank you. All right.
Bye.
King, go ahead, my friend.
Hello, Christian Prince. I'm Nigerian as well, but I'm based in the UK. I've got two questions. The first one, I'm a Christian.
All right.
The first one is talking about what you just mentioned. It says if the Quran was a false book, in it we would have found contradictions.
Correct.
Now, you said that the Quran was recited over, it was passed down from person to person. So how can they be talking about a book when the Quran was recited by the Muslim people in battle?
Well,
If it was recited, it's when. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I will give you the Muslim answers. Muslims, they are sneaky. They can say, well, the Quran called the Quran Kitab, but yet there is no book. You see? Kitab. So the word Kitab used for the Christians, used for the Jews, but when they say the people of the book, they mean Christians and Jews only. But Muhammad, as an example, chapter 2, verse number 89, it says, when there comes to them a kitab, not scriptures. You see? The Muslim translation says scriptures. That's false. It says kitab. From Allah, confirming what is in their possession, which confirming the Bible and the Torah. So, did Muhammad receive a kitab? No. That is another stupid mistake. This is why the Muslim, they try to make it sound like scriptures. Kitab is not necessarily a scripture. Like I have a kitab. I have many kitab wrote myself, and they are in Amazon, but they are not scriptures. And when we say the word kutub, mean many books. We say kitab, we mean one book. So kitab have nothing to do with the word scriptures. This is why it says here, to make it clear what kind of kitab it is, it says, when come to them a kitab from Allah, that will make it scriptures. But still it's a kitab. So, did Muhammad receive a kitab? No, he did not. And this is another stupid mistake in the same verse. In the top of that, the verse confirmed that the book we have in our possession 600 years after Jesus is accurate, and not only that. In Arabic, it doesn't say actually confirming, it says musaddiqun lima ma'ahum. He believing in what is in their possession. This is mean that the Quran should believe in our book, not the opposite. So if the Quran today says Jesus is not God, that means the Quran today must be corrupt, because the Quran used the word musaddiq lima ma'ahum, to what? Believing in what is with them, not only confirming, believing and confirming. All right?
Sure, that's fantastic. I'm a Christian, but I have one more question.
Right.
Just to do the check, Muhammad is a false prophet, is a pedophile. But one of the things I've been wondering about was, you see, the angels in heaven, they had free will. So does it mean that Lucifer, as a person, as an angel, he went against God? I was also thinking about it because, when we talk about the Trinity, we assume that Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and, the Father are one. But if the angels are part of the Spirit and the angels could go against, the Father, like Lucifer did, does that create a problem? Because I've been thinking about it for a very long time, and it's like,
I don't understand because you
yeah,
see,
that's my
the
situation.
angels are a creation. They are not part of the Trinity, and they have nothing to do with the Trinity. So they are the same as us. We are created too, and we have a role in life. Angels have different role in life. They have different nature, but doesn't change the fact that they are creatures created by God. So free will. Why God He gave a free will in Christianity? In Islam, there is no free will. Free will is the only way to know, let us say, for me to know, but for God to be fair, for me to know, because for me, I do not know what you will do tomorrow. For God, He knew what you will do tomorrow. He can see the future. So free will is the only way to be fair. So now, if I am being forced to be a good person, so why I will be deserving to be in heaven? I mean, I'm being forced. It's not me. So free will is a very much important of necessity to earn your position. So when an angel he is falling, he fall. He lost his position as an angel. He become a Lucifer by his choice. It's not God who created him, because if God he created him to be Satan, then this is not fair. Because he did do no wrong. But God did not make him Satan. God make him an angel, and then the angel decide to be Satan. The same as us. Many of us, we don't want to be good, a human being in the word, like between two brackets, the word good. But we decide to be the same as Satan. Evil, harmful, rapist, criminals, killers, liars. So in order for God to be fair with you when He judge you in the day of judgment, He have to give you the free will to be fair. Otherwise, God can force us, and that will make us the same as insect. Insect come from the egg, and you do not need to teach it education. The ant is going to do what ant do. They do not need to go through process of education, go to school, class. They are programmed. They do what their ancestors did, if we can use that word, for years and years before them. We are not insect. We have a free will.
Okay, so just to be clear, because I saw someone in chat also say it, angels are not part of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is a separate part of God
Angels
itself,
are
and angels are
creatures.
just like us.
Angels are created.
Okay,
That's why Jesus, when He said, when we go to heaven, we will be the same as
that's
angels.
all. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Who was first? Tropoli? I don't know. Tropoli, go ahead, my friend.
Peace will be upon you, brother. How are you?
I'm fine.
I just wanted to add to what the brother was asking, um, as in that the angels when they rebelled, we don't have, like, me personally, I don't have the answers to as to why things happened the way they did, but the fact that the Bible explains us the things the way they happened, when we look at our world and the way that the world is, everything that the Bible says reflects the world, right? So when we look at the seven deadly sins, those are the sins that inflict us every single day in our daily lives. And the fact that we are fallen in a fallen state, we are born of the flesh, but then born again in the Holy Spirit. It reflects the grace that the Lord gives us. For it is not by our works that we do anything good, but it is by His grace, right? And so,
Yeah, let us stop here. Hold on, my friend. You see, when we Christian, we say those words, even though they are true, they can be, some people, they can use them in the wrong way. So when we say we are saved by the grace of the Lord, which is true, not by our work, which is not true, but is true, but that is not really the total image, because the Bible says Faith without work is a dead
It's
faith.
dead.
Right. So it is not our work will save us, but our work is the living proof that we are following
Of the
Jesus.
faith.
This is why Jesus says, from their fruits you shall know them.
Shall know them.
So if you are a person who say, I am just saved by the grace and then I can go fornicate and kill and steal, you are going to hell. Correct?
Right.
Exactly.
Actually, thank you for the correction because it is true. I mean, the whole point of the grace is the works that succeed after it, right? When you are graced, when you are saved through grace, then the works match that level of grace. For His mercy endures forever, and so our works have to match that great that mercy. Either way, we're kind of mocking God in that way, right?
Yeah, that
And
will make us hypocrite if we say, like, this is what the Muslim actually they lie about us, and they say the Christian believe that Jesus died for their sins, so they can rape, they can kill, they can steal. This is absolutely false. It is the opposite. It is Muslims who believe in that. Muslims believe if they say Shahada,
yeah, just say Alhamdulillah 100 times, right?
a
Like
hundred times, no,
Subhanallah.
even Shahada, that's going to take you to heaven, right away. Shahada alone will take, which means all what Muhammad said, there's no need for the rest. Just say Shahada. So Islam is the one who gives license. In fact, there's a verse in the Quran, you know, Muhammad, he fabricated a verse saying that his God gave him license to sin. The Muslim, they say, uh, let us see, fix it here.
Well, he gave them many licenses to sin, right?
Yeah, I don't know why it says ما تقدم. Okay, ليغفر لك الله. Read this one. That Allah may forgive your sin for the past and the future. Why God say the following? Here there's many mistakes. The first one is may. If Allah is the person who knew the future, the word may is invalid. If Allah will forgive the sin of Muhammad, he should not say me. If Allah is just, why he is giving a statement of sin of Muhammad in the past and in the future? And why Allah hiring a man, he do sin in the past, he do sin in the future, and give him a license for sin. And then guide you to the straight path. Okay, if you are guiding him, so why this guy is sinning? If you are the really, let us say, you are the supervisor of Muhammad, how you can be having a prophet supervised by God, yet he is a sinner in the past and a sinner in the future, and yet Allah is not sure, yet he is God. That's alone actually prove Allah to be a false God. First, Allah asking someone his name is Allah. If I am God and my name is Allah, why I say may Allah, imagine I say may a Christian prince forgive you. That will be very silly and stupid, right? I am a Christian.
Yeah.
I am a Christian prince. So why I wouldn't say may Christian prince forgive you? Aren't you Christian prince? So why Allah talking saying may Allah forgive you? This is stupid. This is somebody wrote this asking Allah to forgive Muhammad for his sin. It can't be Allah talking.
I think Mohammed, when he was writing this, he forgot to ask Prophet ChatGPT, peace be upon him, to correct his text.
Yeah, he forgot to switch the persona. The idiot of the village, he became an author. All right, brother. Let us give the mic to Scoops, if you don't mind.
I just want to no, never mind. Hey, peace of the Lord be upon you. Thank you for everything. God bless you.
You're welcome. Scoops, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
And no more people come to the stage, please, because soon I have to leave, if you don't mind. Go, Scoops.
I want to ask you about book Bukhari 5134, where Muhammad he married Aisha and consummated the marriage.
Uh-huh.
I'm speaking with some Arab guy, and he's saying that nowhere there says the word consummate. He's saying like it means something else. Can you explain to me the?
It mean what it mean? What he told you when he said it means something else?
He said this is a false translation, and I shouldn't believe this. He
No.
didn't really explain. He said I go leave. I guess he needed to do something.
Well, this is their translation, not ours. However, I believe Muhammad, yes, he did not have intercourse according to Aisha until she is 9, but he was molesting her at the age of 6. She is, at the age of 6, his wife, but he did not have intercourse until she is 9, which means he was molesting her. All right? Yeah. It's, so when a Muslim, he say that, it's just to escape the humility and the stupidity and the description of his prophet being a pedophile. If you watch the video we had just yesterday in the morning, we have a Muslim, he was explaining to me, if you go to the last part of the morning video we have yesterday, he was explaining that Muslims are allowed to marry even a child in the womb. However, yeah, he said that. The video is there. You can cut it, you can post it on your YouTube, that people love. And he said, the age is not important. What is important is if she can handle it. So as soon as the girl, the little tiny girl, she can handle his sexual intercourse, he can do it. But doesn't mean he cannot touch her. There's a book, it's called Tahrir al-Wasila. And then here you see Shia and Sunni, by the way, they agree about the same thing. Al-Khomeini, you heard of Khomeini?
I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it is.
No, Al-Khomeini is the name of the founder of the Islamic State terrorists of Iran.
Oh, yes. I know
Okay.
him.
So Al-Khomeini, in his book, he said, all kind of sexual pleasure with an infant is legal, but you should not do intercourse. All right? By putting your private part between her legs, or by hugs, or by touch. This is Islam, So if we go to the book of Al-Khomeini, let us see. Hold on. And I will post the link for people. We have to use Google Translation in order to be able to read it. And I will post the link. If somebody can help me to post the links, please, in Rumble and Patreon, if you don't mind. If you please. If we go here, this is the book of Tahrir al-Wasila. You go here, it says number 12. We translate. Let's translate the selection. Hold on. The problem when you click at anything, it translates only. Okay, translate. Translator, we need translate, not translator.
I think you have to copy the text you want to translate.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Anyway, so here it says, is it showing in the screen that the text translation or no?
Yes, I can see.
All right. It is not permissible to have intercourse with the wife before complete of 9 years of age, whether the marriage is permanent or for temporary. As for all other pleasures, such as touching with desire, hugging, and touching the private part, there is nothing wrong with them, even with the breastfeeding female.
It's very young. Like a baby.
Breastfeeding. Yeah, it's it's
Yeah.
like 1 day old. Yeah, very, very. This is why, if you have a teacher, he is a Muslim, for your kids, you have to be careful. The guy, we heard him yesterday, and the Quran confirm it, and Muhammad, he practiced it, and the Muslim believe it. So those guys, they will not mind have relationship with the kid, even if it's an infant. And look, imagine what he's saying. All kind of desire things. Desire. He said desire. How in the world a man, he will have a desire for a breastfeeding female?
Very wrong in the head.
Yeah. So no, it's not about wrong in the head. This is satanic, demonic. This is why I say Islam is nothing but a whore. And it is filthy, stupid whore. All right?
Yes.
All right, brother. Thank you very much. And guys, I will try to be back later.
Thank you for the response.
You're welcome. I will try to be back later, maybe in a few hours. As you see, my voice is really tired. I need to give. I can stay, but my voice. I think you can feel it, right? So I'm talking too much, and I purchased those candies for voice. Supposedly they are good for the throat. I don't know. We will see. They will supposedly they will arrive today. So I will try to be back later, and I hope if my voice is good, I promise you I will be back. But if it's not in good condition, then I will take a break until tomorrow. All right? Thank you all. Love you all. And remember one thing. The devil wants your kids, even sexually. So join the fight against the devil and don't say, none of my business. He's coming after you. Islam is a very dangerous cult. Will destroy your community. Will take security from it. Will take safety from it. In the Middle East, every house have a bar over the window. In the Middle East, women, they are not safe to walk alone in the street. In the Middle East, women, they need a guardian, as Islam says. If Islam making the Muslims better people, why need a guardian for my wife if she walk alone in the street? You need a guardian only if you send your sheep between the wolves. And that's what Islam make out of them. And we are here to defeat the wolf of Muhammad. His satanic teaching is number one wolf. Thank you for being here. May the Lord bless you. And until we see you soon again, God is willing. God is good, so is Jesus. I mean to that.